Episode 112, Coffee with John and Clint Phillips.
Today is gonna be a little something more. I've got a plan in mind, a special thing in store. The light bulb inside my head says, get out and play, 'cause you never feel this way. It's my lucky day.
Well, welcome, friends, to Coffee with John. This is a podcast for healthcare technology innovators, professional caregivers, social workers, academic researchers, and family caregivers. If you are serving in the healthcare industry, especially as a technology innovator, we want you to join the conversation. You know, it's never a good thing when you need to get hold of your doctor, and it's always difficult. Even during in-person visit, you only have a few minutes to speak with the doctor. And what happens if you think of one last question you wish you'd asked just as soon as you get home? Well, HIPAA and other regulations certainly don't help either. I mean, you can't just send a quick text or email to the doctor, or can you? Well, today we're going to be talking about the What app of healthcare. This technology provides a HIPAA-compliant framework of technology that simplifies healthcare and answers or empowers patients to easily communicate with their doctors. But first, a good word for caregivers.
God cares for caregivers. Remember, He's one too. Say, caregiver, are you depressed? Has your situation come to a place where you are really down under it all and you feel depressed? You're pressed. And you feel that there must be something that can be done to help you. Well, I'm so glad to be here for this minute and a half to tell you, don't think it's strange when you fall into one of these fiery trials that tries you. This is what Peter writes in his first letter. Don't think it's some strange thing that happened unto you. It happens to a lot of people. What's the answer? Well, the answer is rejoice. Yeah, rejoice. You say, over what? Well, inasmuch that you're a partaker of Christ's sufferings, that His glory shall be revealed, that you may be glad with exceeding joy. Is that what you need? Exceeding joy? Yeah, that's what I think you need. And I believe that God tells you you can have it when you start rejoicing. Yeah, you have to mentally just say, I'm going to be full of joy because the joy of the Lord is your strength. And so you're going to rejoice. You may not feel it to begin with, but keep on doing it, and it will begin to come to you in exceeding ways, and your depression will be gone. It'll go out the window. God cares for caregivers. Remember, He's one too.
Well, Jim Collins, in his book, Good to Great, talks about BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. Our guest today is Clint Phillips. He's the founder of Medici, and his BHAG is to be the world's most inspiring and innovative healthcare company. 1 million doctors helping 1 billion patients. His vision is to create technology that would revolutionize the way doctors provide care to their patients. And as a serial entrepreneur with a track record of success, Clint just may realize this vision. Clint, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, John. It's great to be talking to you.
Well, now this is not your first rodeo in healthcare technology, so bring us up to speed on the companies that you founded and sort of the genesis of Medici and really what it's designed to, the big problem that it's designed to solve.
Yes, my first step into healthcare was we opened a clinic in Aspen, Colorado at the St. Regis that helped people avoid back surgery. And that was called Aspen Back and Body. It was my first thing in America, and coming from South Africa, it was amazing to see that there was such a huge need for even something as simple as back pain, and how difficult it was for people to understand care. So while we were building this great business, it was never going to be a huge business, but it was definitely meaningful to the people who traveled from across the world to get out of pain. My little girl had a stroke. And we realized that there was a much bigger issue in that it was incredibly difficult to understand who a top doctor was and then how to access them. So we started a business in 2011 called Second MD that allowed you to access the world's best doctors for a second opinion, in which we would retrieve all your medical records for you, organize the information for these top doctors. It was incredibly difficult to build the technology platform that allowed for medical records to be retrieved, digitized, viewable across all different types of formats for doctors on all different types of computers and behind firewalls at hospitals. So it was technologically very difficult, and getting the top doctors in the world to agree to work for a company they've never heard from or heard of was no small undertaking. 7 years later, we're very glad to say that we change lives in amazing ways. We are now a benefit at nearly 30 of the top 100 companies in America. And so whether you are an investment banker at Morgan Stanley or a truck driver at Waste Management, you and your parents are now covered by Second MD. But we kept hearing this continual thing of, hey, we love what we did on Second MD last night. We had a video consult with a doctor we never would have had access to. We didn't have to sign any paperwork. There was no cost. It was a remarkable experience. Could you help connect me to my doctor? Because I loved how I connected with your doctor last night. Could you connect me? And we would say, we don't know your doctor. And they're like, but it's so hard to speak to my doctor. You don't understand. I have to call the office a few times and, voicemail. They call me back. I get an appointment in a few days' time. Don't know if I'll still be sick or if it's soon enough. And then I have to sit in the big waiting room, the little waiting room, fill out all this paperwork, all just to have this little exchange of information with my doctor. Please help. And for many years, we said that's just not our business and we don't know how to solve it. But started to collect data points to say, well, what if messaging could be the real center of healthcare? I now message more with family, work colleagues through Facebook, through LinkedIn, through texts, through Slack. What if there was a tool like WhatsApp and how it's used around the world? What if we could build that specifically for healthcare to greatly lift the burden of doctors and to give doctors some quality of life and greatly impact the patients in which they serve? And that was the genesis of Medici.
Wow. I think a lot of people don't realize what's involved to talk to a doctor. I mean, most of us take it for granted. We take text messaging and email, but with all of the HIPAA compliance and the firewalls and everything, it's a huge undertaking. What does Medici mean, and how'd you come up with that name?
It's a funny story, John. We had, I love the name. We were looking at starting a business a while back, and Medici came as it's medical. It sounds like Da Vinci. And then we looked up the Medici family, and they had really transformed banking that enabled just industry and things to develop in amazing ways. And we thought, well, if they transform banking, we can transform healthcare with that same name. It was a little, we were a few weeks in, and a developer who was from Romania said to us, well, Medici, what it means in my country. And I said, no, don't know what it means. He said, it means doctor. I said, are you serious? Turns out it's Latin for doctor.
Wow.
And it means doctor in about 13 languages. So it was just this beautiful, seemed God-inspired moment where we went, wow, we picked an amazing name without even knowing it.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, so if you were talking to a group of healthcare technology innovators, you've gone through some of these challenges and hurdles. What are some insights or words of wisdom that you would give them as they're thinking of innovative ways to get through some of these challenges? Maybe some words of wisdom that you could provide for them.
Yes. The first is that healthcare is really, really hard. Healthcare is just insanely frustrating in that it's controlled often by large hospitals or large insurers who are not necessarily motivated in the same way to be able to help a doctor or to be able to help a patient. So they're pretty happy with their systems, and they're not looking to re-engineer them. They're not looking for disruption. Um, and so you start with a
What, the entrenched companies are not looking for disruptors?
crazy, hey? They really have found a very lucrative system, and they want to keep it. Now, there's enough noise that we know things have to change, but for somebody getting into healthcare, if this change takes 10 years, you have to find a business model that would allow you to work at the speed of this change. Things are not going to change in the next few months. And although regulations, I think, are moving in the right direction, you have to have a model that can survive the difficulty. The second piece I think is very important is healthcare is a calling. To me, don't come into healthcare because you think it's the next hot industry. Come into healthcare because you know that people need help. People want to know that in healthcare there are companies, that there are executives, that there are businesses that really, at the end of the day, are trying to do good. Um, it's very easy to come in with some expensive new proposal that doesn't really help anybody at the end of the day. But I think it has to be a calling. That way, you're going to be able to deal with some of the pushback. It's going to help you with your resiliency, and it's going to help you with the personal satisfaction that at the end of the day, you are making the world a better place is a very important piece. So those would be two off the top of my head.
Love it.
Got many more if you need.
Many more if I need. Well, tell us a little bit. We talked about transforming healthcare. So currently it's this massive, we go see the doctor. What is your vision? Let's go through the speed of healthcare, 10 years. What do you want healthcare delivery and communication? What do you want the healthcare experience to be like? Not just from your application, but holistically. What's your vision of the future?
Yes. I'll give you a small example in the current time frame. When you join our kids' school, you've often moved from another area, you've moved from outside Austin, and you arrive at the school, you find out that there's this app called Medici, you download it, and you enter in the school's name. And as you enter in the school name, it gives you 10 doctors that are available to you. There are 2 family practice doctors, there's 2 pediatricians, a dietitian, a dermatologist, a chiropractor, a psychologist, and an orthopedic doctor are all instantly available to you. And it's as simple as a message. You can see the average response time for these doctors, and you can see how much they cost for a consultation. You, as a mom, now realize, oh, I forgot the veterinarian, probably the most loved person in the app, is the fact that you now have a group of like-minded providers who are parents. I think 9 of the 10 of them are parents at the school who are, very similar, culturally aligned people that can provide care for you. The idea that you would have to find, all these different providers and find out who is good and visit their offices and go through all the paperwork, we can completely eradicate that. When we look at the opportunity for the doctor and our goal of having 1 million doctors helping 1 billion people, is the ability for these doctors to work a few days of the week from home, yet still provide stellar care to their patients. The fact that these doctors could go on holiday and still earn some revenue when they do it, or be able to push their patients to the next available doctor easily and stay in the loop. Today, healthcare is becoming so fragmented in that my daughter's medical record is at urgent care. Maybe it's one of the online services like a Teledoc. Part of it may be at the hospital in Houston, the one in Austin, the one in Colorado. And healthcare is so fragmented, none of these people follow my daughter for the long term. What if we can create these relationships whereby it doesn't matter where you necessarily, if you move out of town, you can still get the care from the people that have context about you, that have records about you. So just like I can get off the aeroplane in Cape Town, South Africa, and order a large car for my family on Uber, or get a small car or a sharing with somebody in New York, I want to be able to message and connect with my doctor, my veterinarian, my dentists, anybody in my healthcare world. And, that's a reality today for the tens of thousands of patients who've started to use us.
So as you're looking out into the future, what is it that keeps you up at night?
Some nights I'm really kept up by an excitement of, are we going to get this big partner across the line? If this partner comes across the line, thinking around the implications. We've got a very global ambition here on not just solving this here in the US. We've got an office in South Africa now. Excited about Australia, South America, Asia. Are we spreading in the right direction? Are we making the right choices? And that gets you keeps you up at night. And have I made the right decision? Have I opened my office in the right place? Have I partnered with the right people? Have I built the technology that is truly scalable and isn't going to, collapse in a year's time as we grow 100-fold? There's a lot of things. It depends on the night of the week, but we have to look at what's going to happen with regulation, what's going to happen with technology, what's going to happen with picking the right things. I think the biggest challenge for any startup is knowing what things to focus on and knowing what things to get rid of. And it's really difficult in an early stage company to always make those decisions correctly.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing really, really fantastic work, and this is super exciting. I know you guys are in the news. You have had a very successful round A of funding a few months ago, so congratulations on that. And thank you very much for taking the time to join us this afternoon.
John, we exist to make healthcare better, and the fact that some caregivers who we think are the real heroes in the world may be listening, and people who are really trying to make the system better. These are the folks that are building a better world. So thank you for the opportunity to chat.
Love it. Well, if you want to learn more about Clint and Medici, you can visit his website, Medici, MEDICI.MD, or visit the show notes for this episode at coffeewithjohn.com/112. Well, if you found this episode valuable, please do us a favor and subscribe to Coffee with John in iTunes and leave an honest rating. And if you'd like to listen to previous episodes, visit us at coffeewithjohn.com. That's coffeewithjohn.com. Well, do you have a topic suggestion or comment about an episode? If so, I'd love to hear from you. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. All of the links are at coffeewithjohn.com.